Hey guys, Tress64 here with part 4 of Final Fantasy 13. Halfway through chapter 3, just got off of the crystalline Lake Brescia and moving up to some ruins. Gonna get some... oh, that's a good amount of gil actually, unlike the 30 and 50 from last episode. Gonna try to avoid this behemoth. Oh, no, ooh, I clipped through his leg a bit there. Luckily it didn't count. Looks like on the minimap I could have actually just gone around him. That's one thing you gotta keep track of, is minimap often shows little hidden areas, not super hidden. This episode I want to talk more about the roles and the leveling up of the roles that are used for the paradigm system. I gave a brief overview of the 6 roles last episode, but each role has a finite number of levels. I think it's 5 or 6. And as the party member moves up in those levels, it increases the bonus that them being that role gives to them, both themselves and the party. For example, the commando role, it gives, when you switch to commando, as Lightning is right now, she gains a 100% bonus to damage. This is why the commando is the most damaging role. And then gives a 5, I think, percent bonus to the entire party, including Lightning. So Lightning in total gets a, 110% bonus. Then we have the commandos in the party are going to be Lightning, Snow, Saz, and Fang. They don't, obviously Saz doesn't have commando unlocked quite yet, and he will unlock it eventually. And we don't even have Fang. Fang gets unlocked rather late in the game. The best commando is definitely Fang, however, followed by Snow, then Lightning, and then Saz. The second role, being Ravager, gives bonus to the stagger percentage that person generates. So the Ravager is the most common role we can get with... oh, each character has 3 that they start off, 3 roles that they'll have for the majority of the game. Post-game, they gain access to all 6 of the roles, but they're still the best at their primary 3. The only reason you really switch them out of their primary is for some of the bosses late game you need triple sentinel in order to survive some of the big attacks. Or if you have the percentage at 999, you'll want triple Ravager. Or triple Commando, I'm sorry. So the second role is Ravager. It increases the stagger gauge. Tend to have one on these on the team. Though they often get switched out for medics, because Hope is the best Ravager, followed by, in rough order, Vanille, Lightning, Saz, Snow. I think that's all of them, all 5. And they gain bonus to stagger percentage and give a bonus to the team stagger percentage. So because I have 2 Ravagers on my team, Lightning is getting like plus 5 or 6%. It's additive across the 2 Ravagers that we have in the, I forget what it's called, the Commando 2 Ravagers class, the one that generally have. The third role is Medic. Best medics are Vanille and Hope. They have different niches that they fill properly. Right up here, though, there is a shortcut that I'm not going to take because I want some Millerite. Anyway, so, and then the third person that gains the medic role is Lightning. Lightning will be our second healer for the majority of the game whenever we need to do Combat Clinic, which is Sentinel and 2 medics. Which is the most common loadout you have to survive major attacks from the enemies. Third role is Sentinel, the tank of the game. Not much to say here. The tanks are Snow and Fang. They're the only two that get the Sentinel role. Snow is significantly better at the Sentinel role simply due to having a substantially higher max HP stat. It doesn't really matter though, we'll be using Fang as our Sentinel for the majority of the game. The fourth role to round out the Holy Trinity... Or wait, did I mention Medic already? Yeah, I did. So, the fifth role then is the Synergist. Synergist buffs your party. By buffing your party, most important buff, of course, being haste, but it also can do protect or shell, which reduce magic or physical and magic damage by 50% respectively. You only need one. If you're going to use a Synergist, you're probably starting off the fight with the Synergist just to gain haste really quickly. It's always best if you're controlling the Synergist to have him cast haste on self first, so that he can get his buffs out more quickly. Synergist bonus is just... Oh yeah, Sentinel's bonus, which I forgot to mention, is damage reduction for the whole team. And damage reduction for self, even higher. Synergist bonus is just the buffs last longer, but how it actually calculates it is the buff duration is calculated at the start of the buff being applied, so you just switch off Synergist and it's perfectly fine. That's obviously the worst of the team party buffs that it gives. The two Synergists are Hope and Saz. Saz is technically the best Synergist simply due to getting haste earlier, but we still don't use him because Synergist is just not that great of a thing. It's only really ever used during boss fights. It's not used during general mob fights. The final role is Saboteur, yeah. And Saboteur, we have the two Pulse Citizens of Vanille and Fang getting Saboteur. Saboteur debuffs the enemy. The bonus it applies is increased debuff chance and duration. Vanille is the best Saboteur simply due to the fact that she gets the death ability. However, Fang gets slow slightly earlier, and we will be using slow on enemies as Fang because she's going to be in our party as Commando for the majority of the game. It should be noted that the Commando, Commando is the best at creating a stable stagger bar. The Sentinel and Saboteur also do stabilizing hits on the stagger bar. So by running a Saboteur on your main person and then two Ravagers, you can still functionally increase your stagger bar without having to worry about it decaying. Of course, doing it on having the AI be the Saboteur is a lot more risky because they like to spread the debuffs around as opposed to keeping the stagger bar up. So here we're fighting just more generic enemies. I haven't really been paying attention to the game, frankly. It's passed through the hallway. The Millerite that I picked up earlier is the item that's going to be needed. I believe it's the item that's needed to upgrade Hope's weapons. I know it's one of the core party's weapons, getting it from level 1 to level 2. Well, not level 1 to level 2, but like first stage to second stage. Hawkeye to whatever it's called. Eagleton, I think. And it's a very expensive item, so it's just worth going out of the way to get here. The most expensive item in the game is a Trapahedron. It is 1 billion gold? Or is it 1 million gold? Forget. But it's the most... it's needed to upgrade any of the items of the core party to their final stages. I'm just going to show off the shortcut here real quick. Show that there's a little cutscene here. This is one of the few cases where something is not shown on the minimap that can be used to speed up the game and promotes exploration. Really, this game just doesn't promote exploration super highly because everything's kind of laid out for you.
Why don't we just loop around and make things easier on ourselves?
So I'm taking these side enemies because I don't want to fight another whatever it's called, executioner class enemy. The bigger Psycom dudes, they just have a lot of HP, don't give much Crystarium points. Or Christogen points, it's called. Key thing to look at here is Christogen points per minute. This battle will have a deceptively high number on it because it doesn't count the, like, it's 333 points per second, not points per minute. It doesn't count the animations or the time running to and from, so you just gotta keep that in mind when calculating out what's the most effective route to grind is. Generally, late game, there are these bomb enemies that will heal when they hit you, which makes them very good DPS checks. And they will self-destruct if they get to full HP and deal significant damage to your party. And those are the fastest way to grind late game because once you get slightly above their level, you can kill them pretty much instantly. Up here's our first 2-stage boss. Nice fancy crystals. I don't really know what the party's thinking when they think that's amazing after they just got off a whole lake of crystal. I guess these ones are glowing.
Stay close.
And Vanille runs off to pull aggro of the boss. Oh, that's a lot of graphical artifacts, actually. PC port's not handling this cutscene well, or this area in general. So I'm going to use my first Libroscope here. The Libroscope will give me access to all of the information of this boss. This is important because during the second stage, the physical and magic resist at the bottom will go up to resistant, which means I'll do 10% damage. And it also shows that he's immune to earth, but I don't even have the Quake ability yet. Weakness to arrow. Saz does not have arrow, unfortunately. Maybe I should have switched out the Hope for this fight, speed it up slightly, not that it really matters. Weakness means that I'll be doing double damage with that ability type. So, the Commando does non-elemental damage of either physical or magic type. And then the Ravagers deal elemental damage of either physical or magic type. There's no dodging the type resistances, so if the game ever wants to just say, hey, this guy's not going to take damage, it'll make it immune to both physical and magic.
It's charging up.
Charging? What are you talking about? Charging for what?
It's last moment.
Wonderfully delivered line, as always, Lightning. Now we're going to see each person just take on their battle stance in the cutscene, which looks really weird. Here you can see that they're both resistant. So the arrow damage will still do 20% because it's knocked down to 10%. So times 0.1 multiplier for resistant, and then times 2 for the weakness. Or is resistant only 30% reduction, or 70% reduction? I'd have to look that up. For some reason I have the 70-30 split in my mind. Wonder what that is. So this is the first example of an enemy that will become substantially weaker when staggered. The resistance will go to the resistance stat will go away when I stagger him, so it's important to just quickly... Oh, this might kill Lightning. She's already at low HP. It's not good. Oh, that's close. 29. was hoping to get that first heal on her before the attack went off. Just gonna switch back to Relentless Assault. So yeah, with these sorts of enemies, it's important that your party is well healed right before you stagger, because you want to get as much damage in to stagger so that you can reduce the number of cycles that it takes to kill the enemy. So staggering will increase the stagger bar by 100, bringing it from 200 to 300%, and increase the damage by an order of magnitude that I'm dealing. So it's a total, so it's plus 50%, plus 100, or plus 1,000%. So 1,500% more damage when this enemy is staggered. Or 15 times, if you prefer looking at it that way. Just gonna wrap up killing this enemy, and then we'll be done with the chapter. So that's it for gameplay. You get Synergist for Saz and Saboteur for Vanille. Those were, of course, gated off from or held from us because they are more complicated than just the holy trinity of deal damage, heal your party, and tank the damage.
Come on, hop to it. Let's go.
They really want you to be able to see that this owl is existing in this cutscene, and it'll come up a few more times in later cutscenes. The popular literary technique of foreshadowing.
This'll make things easier.
Yeah, knowing our luck, it's probably missing an engine.
You shouldn't be so negative.
And you shouldn't get your hopes up.
Yeah, gotta keep the owl in frame at all times. I'll save my progress here. It's another one of those saves that's like there's only a cutscene between the save and the end of the chapter. It's really funny. The first game I played that did that a lot was Metal Gear Solid 4, I think it was. I was just like, yeah, save in either side. Oh wait, no, I forgot. There's a Snow segment at the end of this chapter. Of course. Snow gets his summon here. Shiva. The fact that Snow gets the ice-type summon on the Crystal Lake makes me wonder if there was some debate in the original development of this game over whether the lake was frozen or crystallized. And they went with crystallized because they wanted to emphasize the crystallizing power of the Foul Sea so that you don't forget it, hopefully.
You gonna lend me a hand or what?
Also, they would have had to show the people's breath being cold. I don't think the game could physically handle that. This game did release on PS3. It was primarily made for PS3. It also released on 360, however. Nice censored impaling there. This game was originally released on PS3 and 360, which only have 500 megabytes of RAM to use for both game RAM and video RAM. So it looks amazing given the technical limitations. Almost missed the punch on that guy just because he backed up. Oh, is this the fight I'm supposed to lose? I don't think so. They're certainly throwing more enemies at me than I was expecting. Gotta make sure to hit this tracker here because he does a lot of damage. Swap over to Sentinel, give Snow 50% damage reduction. And then heal up. Oh, didn't mean to provoke there. I meant to just keep using potions. So even though the other members of my party aren't here, they will still gain experience from this. The only way to not gain experience is to have a party member dead at the end of the party, which really sucks because that means that your active party gets less experience. In the party of the people you care about.
What's he doing? Watch yourself! Stay alert!
That's Shiva, the twin sisters. Gotta show my worth to them through these Eidolon battles. This first one's actually a terrible introduction to Eidolon battles because it is extremely easy and extremely boring. So the one sister is just going to hit me repeatedly, and the other sister is going to heal me every once in a while. After casting Death, of course. So at the start of the battle, they each cast Death, and this is a time limit, or Doom. Same thing. It gives you the Death status effect. And they cast Doom, which gives you a time limit for the fight. The fights are balanced to take pretty much the entire time limit, which sucks if you just come barely short of finishing up the Gestalt gauge, or filling up the Gestalt gauge. So the way summons work in this game is they use the TP bar that we haven't really used yet, except for that one cast of Libra I did. And they use 3 segments of the TP gauge in order to summon summon the Eidolon. The summon fully restores your main character's HP. You can only summon your main character's Eidolon main party member's Eidolon after you unlock it. And unlocking it also will increase Snow's and every party member as they unlock it, ATB gauge by 1. So the battle consists of doing what the party member is good at, and Snow is good at tanking. So you just sit here and hit Steel Guard repeatedly, and he will win. Yay. Super exciting. So it uses the 3 bars. The other 2 party members leave. Your main party member gets fully healed, and you gain a additional party member that is the summon, basically, who does as all summons do and just kind of does their own thing. Your party's Crystarium bonus still applies during that fight, so odds are you want to be Ravager, because well, actually it depends on the summon. Because the summons tend to do a lot of percentage ATB increase, especially during their Gestalt mode. So the Gestalt mode is, each of these summons is basically a transformer, and by activating Gestalt mode, we turn them into their vehicle and ride them, and it gives a nice interactive little battle sequence. I think it'll get demoed next thing when we get Lightning Summon of Odin. No way the character named Lightning gets the God of Thunder as their party member. Right, Shiva gets Gestalt mode. This little transformation sequence. And turns into a motorcycle for Snow to ride. Oh, and at the end of the summon, all your party members come back as normal, and they all have full HP. Because during Gestalt mode, your HP bar goes away, and anytime your HP bar goes away, you get started up again
I
with
gotta hand
full.
it to you for taking him down, but don't gloat just yet. Might come a time you wish you'd let him end it, and made things easy. easily see. Take him.
So you can tell here that Fang is a main party member because her hair is
You wanna
fancier.
keep breathing?
Like if you look at the other guy with the long hair, he doesn't have as many
Shut up and
hairs
become
rendered.
quiet.
And yes, this is Fang. This is our first introduction to her as a character.
Bring her this way! Careful now! Come on!
Sarah. Sarah!
Shut it!
In the development of this game, they actually had a different
down.
physics engine for the hair that they have for everything else in the game. They might share it with the clothes.
You two. Why are you helping them?
If I were you, I'd worry about myself.
This game came out well before NVIDIA Hairworks or any other fancy hair-based graphics. Get another nice little pre-rendered cutscene here.
Give me that! What? Did we get him? We got one of them. They're still behind us!
Stop that! Hey! I said stop! You wanna die?
How are you gonna lose him?
You got me, kid.
Then let me!
No, thank you. They're still on us?
So it might look like they're like super outside right now, but they're actually still in Cocoon. Cocoon's just massive.
Come on, give me a break!
Very cloudy also, apparently.
Hang on! Ah, for the love of all that's good! Huh?
Next, an update on the status of the Purge. Just moments ago, the Sanctum announced the successful conclusion of the Purge, along with the safe arrival of the Cocoon migrants to their new homes on Pulse.
Yes, that is correct. There's no denying the enormity of the strain the Purge placed on us all. But given the tens of millions of lives at stake, there truly was no alternative.
Primarch Daisley stood by the move, stressing the necessity of the relocation. When asked about the possibility of future purges, the Primarch remained non-committal, stating only that he would seek counsel with the fal'Cie Eden and weigh all options before making a decision.
Yeah, that's right. If it makes the Sanctum look bad, it never even happened.
In all the centuries since the War of Transgression, Cocoon has been spared Pulse aggression and prospered for it. It is essential that we maintain this peace. That is the Sanctum's focus. We will continue employing every resource available to combat these threats to the harmony of our society.
Meaning, we'll be running for the rest of our lives.
Hey,
Mm-hmm.
who is this guy?
I mean, what do they teach kids these days? He's Gallant Daisley, the Sanctum Primarch. Murderer-in-Chief.
According According to our Insta
Just
poll,
another
nearly
tool
90%
of the
of
foul
Cocoon
sea.
citizens agree with the Sanctum's handling of the purge. 70% of respondents said they would also support additional purges were the need to arise.
Let's purge everybody. That'll fix it.
This game really tries to hammer home the evilness of propaganda. All Final Fantasy games do that. Do pick one thing
Points for
that they
perseverance.
really want to call evil.
A Sanctum foul sea up close and personal. Cocoon's own light in the sky. Here we go again.
Fly in. We'll lose him in there.
So literally flying through Cocoon's sun.
I like this foul sea.
There's more of them!
Feel like there's some problems with that. That wouldn't be a safe environment. I don't think the ship would be able to reach the inside of the sun. And now you see the grid background. That means it's the end of the chapter. Overwrite my data, and see you guys next time.